1. CIA, United States Central Intelligence Agency. Few institutions carry as much mystery and power as the CIA. The United States Central Intelligence Agency, officially created in 1947 in the tense context of the Cold War, was born with a clear mission: to protect American interests in the world silently. Since then, it has become one of the most influential and controversial agencies in history. Unlike the FBI, which operates domestically, the CIA works outside American territories. Its role goes far beyond collecting information. It organizes secret operations, finances foreign groups, influences elections, and in many cases acts directly in coups d'etat, all under the cloak of secrecy and with legal authorization to hide these actions from the public. One of the most striking episodes occurred in Iran in 1953. The CIA helped overthrow Prime Minister Mossad, who had nationalized Iranian oil. The coup reinstated the monarchy and guaranteed the interests of Western companies for decades. The case became a symbol of the agency's strategies: silent intervention, political interests, and government manipulation. Another dark case was the MK Ultra project. In the 1950s, the CIA conducted secret experiments with hypnosis and mind control methods, often using people without their consent. The objective was to discover how to break the human mind and reconstruct it, a response to Cold War paranoia. For decades, the CIA also created armed groups in Latin American, Middle Eastern, African, and Asian countries. In many of these places, it helped strengthen authoritarian regimes in the name of fighting communism. Despite all the controversy, the CIA is also seen by some as a central piece in protecting and maintaining global security. 2. SVR, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service. When the Soviet Union fell in 1991, one of its most feared organs was dismembered: the KGB. From it emerged several agencies, but the one that inherited the most strategic part, international espionage, was the SVR, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service. It assumed all the external intelligence structure of the former KGB: agents, archives, secret networks, and decades of experience in infiltration, propaganda, and sabotage. Its role is, of course, to spy on other countries, influence foreign governments, and protect Russia's interests outside national territory. During the Cold War, the KGB was the West's nightmare. With the SVR, this operation didn't stop, it just adapted. Modern Russia may no longer have the territorial reach of the former Soviet Union, but its secret service remains active, silent, and very effective. One of the methods most used by the SVR is the sleeper agent. People infiltrated for years in other countries, living as ordinary citizens, with false identities and normal jobs, only spring into action when necessary. Such cases came to light in 2010, when the FBI arrested a Russian espionage network in the United States, including the famous Anna Chapman. Additionally, the SVR is known for acting in cyber-espionage. NATO country reports accuse hackers linked to the agency of invading their government systems, stealing sensitive data. Russian interference in the 2016 American election, for example, raised strong suspicions of direct involvement by the Secret Service. Another striking episode was the event against Alexander Litvinenko, former FSB agent, another arm of the KGB, in London, 2006. He had become a critic of the Russian government. Then he was led to death with polonium-210, a rare radioactive substance. The operation carried the Secret Service's signature: precise, discreet, and almost impossible to trace. 3. MI6, United Kingdom's Secret Intelligence Service. When speaking of espionage, it's hard not to imagine fast cars, elegant suits, and secret missions with cutting-edge technology. Much of this comes from fiction, but behind the myth there is indeed a real and powerful organization: the United Kingdom's Secret Intelligence Service. Founded discreetly in 1909, MI6 was born during the period of growing tension between European powers. Its initial objective was simple: gather information about possible foreign threats, but over time the institution evolved, becoming the main responsible for British international espionage. During both World Wars, MI6 played a fundamental role. Spies were infiltrated in Mossad, Germany, communication networks were intercepted, and sabotages were carried out behind the scenes. The dispute against the KGB became a silent intelligence confrontation. London became one of the world's largest espionage activity centers, both British and Soviet. MI6 also went through internal betrayals. The most famous case was the Cambridge Circle, a group of British spies recruited by the Soviet Union who worked within MI6's own structure for years, leaking secrets directly to Moscow. This episode deeply shook trust between Allied services for decades. Curiously, the British government only officially recognized the existence of this government organ in 1994. Until then, its director was called only C, a tradition that began with its founder, Sir Mansfield Cumming, who signed only with the letter of his surname. Its operations are highly confidential and rarely come to public, but its influence is felt in various regions of the world, mainly where the United Kingdom has strategic interest. Discreet and efficient. 4. Mossad Institute for Intelligence and Special Missions. The Mossad is one of the world's most respected and controversial intelligence agencies. Created officially in 1949, 1 year after the founding of the State of Israel, the Mossad emerged with an urgent mission to protect a newly created nation surrounded by enemies and uncertainty. Its full name means Institute for Intelligence and Special Missions. The definition already shows its nature. The Mossad doesn't limit itself to observing. It operates exclusively outside Israeli borders, and has freedom to carry out secret operations without the need for parliamentary approval, something rare among world agencies. Throughout the decades, the Mossad built a reputation based on surgical and bold actions. One of the most emblematic episodes was the capture of Adolf Eichmann, one of the architects of the German mustached one's crimes. He lived under false identity in Argentina. In 1960, Mossad agents located him and secretly took him to Israel, where he was tried and condemned. Another example was Operation Entebbe in 1976. After the hijacking of a plane with Israeli hostages in Uganda, Israel's government launched a rescue operation more than 40 km away. The mission's success became a symbol of the country's operational capacity and the Mossad behind the scenes. Unlike other agencies, the Mossad operates as a global network of civilian collaborators known as Cyanim. They are Jews outside Israel who voluntarily help the agency, offering resources, houses, contacts, or information. This extends its reach without raising suspicions. Despite its efficiency, the Mossad is also accused of committing excesses, operations outside the law, and actions on foreign soil without permission. 5. BND, Germany's Federal Intelligence Service. In 1956, the BND was born, West Germany's Federal Intelligence Service. Officially, its mission was clear: protect the country from external threats. But behind this function was a complex and even uncomfortable history. The BND's first chief was Reinhard Gehlen, a former intelligence officer from the mustached one's military. He had accumulated an enormous collection of information about the Soviet Union. After Germany's surrender, Gehlen surrendered to the Americans and offered his knowledge as bargaining currency. Thus was born the Gehlen Organization, which later gave rise to the BND with direct CIA support. This controversial beginning haunted the BND for years. Several of its first agents had served the German mustache regime, which generated criticism and distrust, especially in the following decades. Even so, the BND consolidated as a key actor in espionage during the Cold War, acting in Iron Curtain surveillance and constant monitoring of the Soviet bloc. During this period, the BND collaborated closely with the United States and NATO. Information about troop movements, scientific espionage, and communist surveillance were its main focus. However, the service also went through failures. On some occasions, double agents passed sensitive information to East Germany, putting its credibility in check. With the fall of the Berlin Wall and German reunification, the BND underwent reformulation. Its methods were modernized and its structure became more transparent. The focus turned to new threats. Today, the BND works in areas like digital surveillance, attack prevention, and energy security. 6. DGSE, France's General Directorate for External Security. The DGSE, General Directorate for External Security, is France's main secret service. And although it's less known than the CIA or MI6, it has already starred in real operations as bold as any movie script. Created officially in 1982, the organization is the successor to previous structures linked to France's secret service since World War II. Its mission is clear: protect French interests abroad, collect strategic information, prevent threats, and conduct clandestine actions when necessary. In other words, it's the invisible arm of France's foreign policy. One of its most famous and controversial operations happened in 1985 when organization agents sank Greenpeace's Rainbow Warrior ship in New Zealand. The ship was protesting against French nuclear tests in the Pacific. The attack led to the death of a photographer and caused an international scandal. France ended up assuming responsibility years later, and the case became a symbol of the limits or lack thereof of secret agencies. The organization was also involved in operations in Africa, especially in former French colonies. Agents participated in political support, civil conflict monitoring, and economic interest protection, actions that mix strategy and influence under a logic of maintaining geopolitical presence on the continent. With technology's advancement and the emergence of other problems, the organization modernized. From the 2000s on, it began investing heavily in cyber intelligence, digital surveillance, and communication interception. 7. Gestapo Nazi, Germany's secret state police. The Gestapo was much more than an intelligence agency. It was the heart of fear in mustache Germany. Created in 1933, shortly after Adolf assumed power, the Gestapo didn't have the objective of protecting citizens, but of protecting the regime, whatever the cost. Unlike other Third Reich institutions that acted more visibly, the Gestapo was invisible, silent, and omnipresent. It didn't use flashy uniforms. Its agents mixed with the population, acting in the shadows. And most frightening, anyone could be an informant, a neighbor, or work colleague, even a relative. The Gestapo's operational base was simple and brutal. Watch and interrogate anyone from the opposition. There was no need for warrants, proof, or fair trial. A denunciation was enough, often anonymous, for someone to be arrested, interrogated, and in many cases led to death. Jews, communists, intellectuals, religious people, political opponents, all were targets. One of the darkest aspects was the use of fear as a tool. The Gestapo didn't need to arrest everyone. It was enough to arrest some and ensure everyone knew what could happen. This created a constant climate of tension. Self-censorship became a habit. People measured words even inside their homes, fearing that their children, taught to obey the regime, could denounce them. The Gestapo expanded its operations to occupied territory. It actively participated in persecutions. It acted side by side with the SS and other regime institutions, coordinating mass arrests and violent interrogations. After the regime's fall, the Gestapo was officially considered a criminal organization during the Nuremberg trials. Many of its leaders were arrested, but several agents managed to escape or discreetly reintegrate into society. 8. MSS, China's Ministry of State Security. If Western intelligence agencies are known for their international operations and spectacular actions, the MSS, China's Ministry of State Security, prefers silence. Created officially in 1983, the MSS is the Communist Party's invisible arm, responsible for external espionage and internal surveillance. Its existence rarely appears in headlines, but its tentacles spread in various directions. The MSS combines the CIA, FBI, and NSA's role in one structure. It investigates internal threats, monitors dissidents, and controls information within Chinese territory. At the same time, it acts globally in cyber-espionage operations, technology theft, infiltrations in universities and companies, especially in defense, energy, communications, and artificial intelligence sectors. Unlike other agencies that have a level of transparency, the MSS is extremely closed. Its director doesn't appear in public, its methods are rarely admitted, and external operations, when discovered, are generally denied by the government. In recent years, several countries have denounced MSS actions. In 2020, the United States Department of Justice accused hackers linked to the Chinese ministry of trying to steal American data. Before that, technology companies were targets of sophisticated attacks for intellectual property theft. And the pattern was always the same: anonymous digital actions, highly coordinated. But the MSS doesn't act only in the digital world. There are also reports of traditional espionage with agents infiltrated in academic and diplomatic communities. In some cases, Chinese citizens abroad are pressured to collaborate, whether by patriotism, blackmail, or fear. Internally, the MSS has an even more sensitive function: controlling discourse. It acts in surveillance of minorities like the Uyghurs, censors activists, blocks information, and represses any attempt at organization contrary to the government. And did you know all these intelligence agencies in the world? Which do you think is the most powerful? If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and like the video for more videos like this.